life. Get lost in love. Let's go. Ma, it's no problem to hold you, tongue stroke you, please you like I'm supposed to. Touch spots that ain't ever been touched, and I won't stop till both these squirrels get their nuts. Hey, you know it's good when we freakin', king size squeaking after I ease in. If you was with me, baby, 24/7, best believe that every single day would be a sweet day. Girl, you sweeter than the cheesecake. If you want beef, prophecy would be a beefcake. I make love to you till you fall asleep, leave you with sweet dreams between the sheets.
Was the night before that night. I was born on that day, but not last night. Once upon a time, I had my cash right. Plug called, he ain't act right. I'm far from a slow nigga in this fast life. Pulled up, I got low, hit the black light. Once upon a time, slimy niggas catch a bad night. When bad police die, they don't deserve bagpipes. Once upon a time, they need to feel with God raps like old soul. So folks feel me like a past light, a head buster. I'm shining bright as a mag light. Once upon a time, when will the government act right? Opinionated imbeciles just
What's good, everybody? It's Man Big Time coming live now to the TruPlayaz podcast episode. Yes, I am live right now. A little bit under a half hour before the Knicks game tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Listen, guys, I have no notes. So this podcast will be a little bit disjointed, so excuse me for that. I've been a busy week for me, so just bear with me. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I know I've been late about the New York Jets losing and the Giants losing, but I'm here to give you guys a great episode. First and foremost, we'll talk briefly a little bit about the Giants, that they lost to Geno Smith, the Seattle Seahawks over there in Seattle. Quick thing about that situation is, if the Giants don't get a receiver, well, the trade deadline's over. They didn't trade for a receiver. The Giants' playoff hopes are now in the head. I wouldn't say it's in trouble, because you still got the Eagles, still got the Cowboys to worry about. But the Giants need one of their receivers to step up and become that main guy on that team, because teams are going to put 8, 9 men in the box for Saquon now. Saquon has gotten the league's attention, and everyone knows the Giants don't have an outside receiver that can, make that difference for them right now and make it easier for Daniel Jones to pass. So, got to figure out something. Maybe Kenny Galladay can finally play up to his contract. That'll be something that could definitely help the Giants. You hear that, Kenny? Step up and play to your contract now, because you're the only one there now. All right. So a little bit about the Giants. We'll segue up for that right now. Sorry, Giants fans. Let's get to the Jets right now. Let's talk about the Jets right now. I understand Zach Wilson is 4-1 as a starting quarterback. I understand that. It's wonderful that he's 4-1 as starting quarterback. But what he did, how he played against the Patriots, gives me a lot of question marks about him as a quarterback and how he responded after the press conference, talking about this. It's kind of boring to throw the ball away on certain plays. Listen, you have a great defense that's behind you, playing their hearts out to master mistakes during that game. It got to the point they were on the field too long. They got too tired and couldn't cover for your mistakes anymore. The Jets had a lead going into halftime. Well, at least a minute going to halftime. Then he throws that big interception. He's being harassed and by the rushers, because we don't have a great offensive line. Our top offensive linemen are injured, which is understandable. But the smart play has always been to throw the ball away and live for another down. You can't keep putting this defense, which is a good defense, in bad positions. You can't do that. That's not fair to the defense. I don't care if your record's 4-1 or 0-4. Your job as a quarterback is to get them into the end zone, not give the ball to the other team. All right, that's what should be going on. And about Robert Saleh, okay, the roughing the passer penalty on my man John Franklin Myers. It seems to be an issue with that guy causing those penalties on third downs. especially when there was a big turnover, a pick six going the other way, and the play was taken back because he was roughing the passer. Come on, John Franklin Myers. Can you stop doing it on third down? With this guy, it's constant. Every other game, he gets a big penalty. They just get a big stop on third down. They get a turnover on third down. This guy ends up with a freaking roughing the passer penalty. Never fails with that guy. How about you not play him on third down? Let's do that. Don't play him on third down. Keep him on the bench. You got other pass rushers. You got so many pass rushers. We traded away Martin to the Broncos for some draft picks. I mean, Joe D. I mean, how many draft picks do you want per year? How are you going to utilize those draft picks? Apparently, what's going on here? Nothing to. I'm gonna take that straight out. Zach Wilson saw ghosts. He didn't verbalize it the way Sam Darnold verbalized it, but he saw ghosts that last game too. I'm gonna give a big shout out to Denzel Mims. You know what I'm saying? 2 catches. I think he had like 70 yards catching. 70 yards. He had a big run after the catch play in late in the fourth quarter when they were trying to make a comeback to beat the Patriots, which was a failed comeback because of the turnovers, because of the quarterback. But the one thing that irritates me about this Denzel Mims situation is this guy had got a big 13-yard first down, and the coaching staff immediately pulls him out of the game. And I was telling my brother via text message, this coaching staff has something personal against Denzel Mims. It's personal. I've said this before in previous podcasts, how I say that they purposely sabotage players. I'm not going to go as far because according to Robert Saleh, Denzel Mims is going to get more chances to prove himself, even when Corey Davis comes back after the bye, week 10 bye. We'll see what happens. But the offense is too. I don't like the offense. The offense is bland. LaFleur is not a good offensive coach. You got all these weapons, and you wonder why Elijah Moore is complaining about he's not getting his touches. Yeah, you got an offense coach. It's like a quarterback, staring at a receiver. Gary Wilson is number one receiver on the team. We understand that, but every pass play is run for him. This game against the Patriots, he is the main target on every play. Can you create an offense where you can utilize all your players? Listen, I understand the offensive line sucks. I understand that. But that's up to the quarterback to make quicker reads. So it's also up to the coaches to not have them drop back 50 times and throw the ball 51 times. That's coaching. It's nothing to do with the players. It's coaching. It's idiotic coaching. That's what it is. Idiotic coaching. And then we got the fans saying, "Oh, give Zach Wilson a chance. He's only in his second year." I remember when Geno Smith was the second-year quarterback of the Jets. They wanted to run him out of town. I remember that. Don't you guys remember that? I remember that very well. And they had another compare Zach Wilson to Mark Sanchez. First of all, make things perfectly clear. Do not compare Zach Wilson to Mark Sanchez yet. Yeah, I said it. Don't compare him to Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez's first 2 years, AFC Championship games, 4-1 in the playoffs. He was in the playoffs with the same design team that Zach Wilson has right now. Right now. He has a running game and a great defense. And this guy is throwing the ball to the other team. He got a little impatient. He got bored. Like he said in the press conference, he got bored. That's the wrong thing to say. You still got a lot to learn. The fact of the matter is, I'm rooting for this guy to be successful. Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for him to be successful. But I think I don't think this offensive coach is not the answer. And I said that on different podcasts. I'm saying it again on this podcast. LaFleur is not the answer as offensive coordinator. He should be a quarterback coach and just put someone else who could call plays and utilize the talent on that team. Understand that you ain't got an offensive line that can block for 4 seconds. And call plays accordingly. Call quick striking pass plays. Use some draw plays. Move your receivers around so you can play different positions where you can put Gary Wilson in the slot, put Gary Wilson on the outside. You can put Elijah Moore on the slot. Find ways to get the receivers open. Because once these guys catch the ball, they can run after the catch. You see it with Gary Wilson. You see it with Denzel Mims against the Patriots. And you damn sure see it with Elijah Moore last year with the run after catch situations. But it's up to this coaching to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Robert Saleh, I'm not sold on him as a NFL head coach, but I got to give him props for the team that plays hard for him. They don't want to quit on him. He brings the energy to the sideline that you never seen outside of Rex. But by the same token, you got to make the adjustments. This has been an issue with the Jets. They don't make adjustments at the right time. Every single coach. We haven't had a coach that made adjustments since freaking Mancini. And that included Rex Ryan, who went to 2 AFC Championship games. That included him too. Couldn't make adjustments. Defensive players making roughing the pass penalties on 3rd down when the team did its job and got off the field or got a turnover. John Fleck-Demeyes need to stop that shit. Otherwise, if I was coach, I'd bench his ass to make him understand. Even though it could be a dubious roughing the pass penalty, he has a reputation of doing that. Once you have that reputation, they're gonna call that thing and throw that flag at any point. Say that right now. At any point, that flag is coming out when he's around the quarterback. It's not fair. Sauce Gardner is having a great season. Quinton Williams having a great season. You need to pay Quinton Williams. Pay him. We still can't beat the Patriots. Amazing. Still can't beat the Patriots. We'll see what happens this week. All right, guys? We're going to move on. We're going to move on to my New York Knicks. All right, guys? New York Knicks. Team started 3-1. Played valiantly in Memphis, but it came back from 18 down the 4th quarter to force overtime to eventually lose to John Moran in overtime. They come home. The home opener, they won 3 in a row, albeit the 3rd game. And when they beat Orlando, it was a little bit of a struggle after having a big lead. This team under Thibideau has issues with prosperity, having big leads of 20 points or more. They had a big lead in Cleveland, in which Spider Mitchell gave them the business. And this man wants to come to New York. But by the same token, you can't have both him and Brunson because you make the backcourt small. It had to be one or the other. If the Knicks intend one Spider Mitchell, you got to hold up for signing Brunson and see how that trade goes about. But you can't have both on the team. But I'm not knocking Jalen Brunson. He's doing a hell of a job, even though we're seeing old shit coming up during the Knicks games. I'm going to tell you the old shit that's happening with the Knicks game. Julius Randle bringing the ball up court and playing at the 3-point line. That is rearing its head again. And it's a problem. This is not winning basketball. That's why the Knicks went 37-45 last season. Because of that type of basketball. I thought we signed Jalen Brunson to avoid that shit. And we're back at it again, and now they got a 3-game losing streak. Yes, R.J. Barrett has struggled, but he's not getting the ball enough. He should be the one facilitating the offense. He should be the one with the ball in his hands at crunch time. Him and Brunson should have the ball in their hands at crunch time. If Derrick Rose on the court, him too. Let the ball handlers handle the ball. Let the big man go and grab rebounds. There's no excuse that Emmanuel quickly out-rebounds you. Last game. 16 rebounds for IQ. He's a guard. You should be down low and grabbing the rebounds and getting easy shots. But then like with the Jet situation, you got to look at the coaching. Now, Knicks fans, you got to ask yourself this question: is Tom Thibideau the answer as head coach? We're going through the same bullshit again like we did last year. He's not played Obi Toppin enough. This is worried about Julius Randle's ego, or whatever ego he think he has, whatever with his inflated vision of himself as a basketball player. Julius Randle's a good player, but he's not a playoff winning player. And then you got Evan Fournier. He had some good scoring game. Yes, he did. By the same token, he's a liability on defense. And when you're playing Hartenstein, you don't have Mitch Robinson back there trying to block shots. That's good. That's a problem when you have Fournier on the floor. And I seen when the Knicks was playing against the Magic. I'm gonna give you a good example, guys. When the Knicks played the Magic in overtime, had Fournier not foul out, the Knicks would have lost to the Magic at the Garden. They would have lost to them. Cam Reddish came in there and played some decent defense, made some plays on defense, stripped the ball, created some turnovers on their player, the main player. I've seen on Twitter that possibly that Emmanuel quickly could be in the starting lineup and Evan Fournier goes to the bench. That's going to weaken the bench tremendously, first of all. I'd rather have quickly coming off the bench, and I would start Cam Reddish. Only up until Quentin Grimes gets his foot on the ground, he shakes the rust off, and he gets the playing time. Only then we'll rock with Cam Reddish for a little bit in the starting lineup. If that's the case. Like I said, I don't believe anything that comes off of Twitter. I don't believe anything that comes off heavy.com. But that's what I see. But if the Knicks do move on from Tom Thibideau, I'm telling the front office this, a lot of Knicks fans probably will agree with me. It's time to bring in Mark Jackson as head coach and stop playing around. Stop playing around. Stop playing around and bring in Mark Jackson. If you're going to make that change, I don't want to make that change, but Tom Thibideau needs to stop being stubborn. And stop playing players who could play on both ends of the court, who want to play to win. Enough with Julius Randle bringing the ball up court. That's why you signed Jalen Brunson. Let him bring the ball up court. Let him facilitate the offense like he's supposed to. Just what you paid him for. Make sure RJ Barrett gets good looks. He's not hitting the shot early in the season. I understand that. But eventually he's going to start hitting the shots. Cam Reddish needs to be on the floor. Obi Toppin needs to be on the floor. So Obi Toppin needs to play at least 35 minutes. In my opinion, Obi Toppin needs to play 35 minutes per game. In my opinion. Even with Randle on the team, even with Mitchell Robinson on the team, even with Hartenstein on the team, Obi Toppin needs to play 35 minutes. Tops. Right now. Until they move Randle. Until they move Fournier. And that's the question the Knicks have to answer right now. Quentin Grimes is back playing. And he has to play because he brings a certain defensive intensity to the floor and he can shoot the three. You need minutes from Toppin. Toppin in the first quarter against the Hawks was playing well. Granted, at the end of the game, he missed some shots. He was pulled out the game for Randle. But DeJounte Murray gave us the business. But who's guarding him? At times I saw IQ guarding him. I saw Brunson guarding him. I even saw The only time he had difficulty scoring was when RJ Barrett was guarding him, which was like I think once or twice in the game. I've seen that happen. Cam Reddish gave him a little bit of trouble, but he still scored on Cam Reddish as well. You know what I'm saying? This is coaching. You got to make the tough decisions, Tom, and realize that Julius Randle and Evan Fournier is going to be the reason why you lose your job. You got to change that. You got to adjust. Stop being so stubborn. You got to win games. If it's going to hurt players' egos, so be it. But the object is to win games. People are hungry for another playoff run with the Knicks. They're hungry for it, and they feel that they're almost there. This for Leon Rose, Worldwide West. You got to find a way to trade Randle and Fournier off this team. I don't care if you bring me back Westbrook. I don't care. At this point, I don't care. I'm tired of seeing those guys on the team. They just hold shit up. They're blocking Obi Toppin. They're blocking what about what Cam Reddish could do. They're just blocking them. Let's get those guys off the team. And I guarantee you, I promise you, if they do that, I think Knicks would go on a roll of winning games and playing great defense with the ball movement, the crisp rotations on defense, the enthusiasm. Even when things get down, the enthusiasm is still the same. This is what I hope to happen with the New York Knicks. If I was general manager, I'll do it. I'll do it. Get more draft picks. Why not? You think Julius Randle ain't worth send him to a team that goes going to the playoffs where you know they probably get the low round first round pick, or take a bad contract back with it, which would be Russell Westbrook, which comes with the books next year, or an expiring bad contract, something like that. So we'll see what happens as my phones keep going off during the podcast. But anyway, that's when we're gonna go back to speak about the Brooklyn Nets. You know, Stevenash gets fired, or they mutually parted ways, whatever you want to slice it. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving got their wish; they got him off the team. And rumor has it that Ime Udoka is gonna come in and be their head coach after being suspended with the Boston Celtics for a year for his indecent proposal, indecent whatever you want to call it. I know Malik Andrews is wilding out right now because he got another job. But who cares? Who cares? The man did a bad thing. He cheated on his woman. It's a bad thing. The woman he cheated on with also is a bad person too. But she also had a significant other as well, albeit a husband. Remember that. She's married. It takes two. But the Kyrie situation with the anti-Semitic, he posted a movie. He backed the movie that showed anti-Semitism, things like that. I don't want to talk about that too deeply because for me, it's not. It is important, but you got to be careful when it comes to that. You got to be careful what you say, no matter how truthful it could be. Because you got to worry about how people receive information and things like that. Not saying what he did was right. I'm not saying that at all. But part of communication is how people receive information, even when you come from a good place. And you can't mess with certain ethnic groups, my people, especially us black people. We can't be messing around with ethnic groups like that. It's going to cost us our careers. It'll cost us a lot of things. But if you do say something, you got to be a little bit more strategic with what Kanye was saying, more strategic of what you support as far as, I don't know what Kyrie was supporting, a movie, a documentary, or something like that, that was laced with anti-Semitic things. But you got to be smart because the other group you say things or you support against are the ones who are the distributors. They're the distributors. They're the food chain. Got to be careful. You got to use the 48 laws of power when you deal with them. When speaking the truth. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie Irving's career in Brooklyn and with the Brooklyn Nets, he got suspended for 5 games. They better trade him out of New York now. They would trade him out. He didn't even, they had to force him to apologize. Just apologize and be genuine about it in the face of the heat that you brought onto yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't hesitate now. You got to do the Anti-Defamation League. Now you got to go speak with rabbis in Brooklyn and things like that to learn their culture and things like that. He's not gonna be in Brooklyn for long, bro. Time for him to go. Time for him to go. Remember what happened to Charlie Ward? He said when he said that about them persecuting Jesus, and how fast he got traded out of New York after that happened. Look how fast he got traded out of New York, and his NBA career was over after that. Got to be careful what you say about people, because you don't know their reception, how they're going to receive it, and you also got to be mindful too. You got to be mindful of what you say. You can't be saying some dumb shit or some mean shit to get to because you feel you're right either. But I don't want to delve too much into it because that's a very it's like being in you treading water in high currents, high ocean currents. So I'm gonna change the subject. I'm gonna get ready to wrap up this podcast actually as the Knicks get ready to play their game tonight. But I want to know, guys. I'm gonna hit you guys up with another podcast. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for watching. Listen, subscribe to my YouTube channel, TruPlayaz Podcast. Search for that. Subscribe, like my page, facebook.com/TruPlayaz down. Follow my group. It's going to be on and popping, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the podcast. For listening to the podcast on Anchor, Speaker, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeart Radios, at Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and TuneIn Radio. Okay? It's your man signing off on this podcast. I'm going to talk to you guys soon.